Hi everyone, my name is David Trigano. I'm Director of Product Manager at Deep Instinct. And with me today we have Amit Yaniv, who is the Principal Product Manager at Deep Instinct. In today's session, we're going to talk about why zero-day data security is the only way for you to protect your Amazon S3 buckets in real time against known and unknown attacks. In this picture, what you see is what your data estate looks like. Everything is well organized. You know exactly what the data you have. You know exactly who has access to this data. You potentially have a solution that scans the data. Everything works perfectly. But let me tell you something. The reality is slightly different. This is how your data estate looks like. You don't know which files can lurk into your environment. You don't really know who has access to your data. You don't know who consumes the data. You don't know which application sends data into your data estate. You potentially don't even know what are data repositories you have within your environment. And you can come and tell me, but David, I have a signature-based solution that scans my files, and every time that something is being found, I'm getting an alert. Well, it should be fine a few years ago. But in today's recent LLM and the rise of dark AI, we see more advanced techniques that are basically putting your legacy solutions into a failure to protect against unknown attacks. Attackers are targeting data and they innovate faster than defenders. And your legacy solutions are failing. The risk exposure is constantly growing. And on the right of your screen, there are a few numbers that I want you to pay attention to, and two particularly. The first one is 200 plus. 200 plus is the number of zero-day vulnerabilities that are being exploited in 2023. We don't know exactly yet how many vulnerabilities and zero-day vulnerabilities exploited in 2024, but let me tell you something. This number will be much higher than 200. And I'm not even talking about 2025 and 2026. The second number that I want you to pay attention is 292 days. 292 days is the average time it takes to an organization not only to identify, but also to contain a data breach in 2023. Which means that for almost a year, you can have malicious content into your organization, malicious actors into your organization, extracting your data and spreading malware across your organizations. And we are not the only one talking about the necessity of having a cyber storage within your environment. In the latest hub cycle of Gartner related to data protection technologies, Gartner themselves are defining cyber storage as the ability to actively defend your storage system and data against cyber attacks with prevention, early detection, and attack blocking. And if we focus especially on Amazon and Amazon S3 buckets, what we realize is that this is what we call an unattended attack surface. What happens is that organizations are moving their data to the cloud, often believe that the cloud providers are in charge of protecting their data. But let me tell you something again. The reality is slightly different. Cloud vendors are not scanning the files before storing them into your Amazon S3 buckets. This leads to a high risk of malware, ransomware, and crypto miner that could be stored in your S3 buckets. Upon download on your end users, this can spread malware to production system. And lastly, and this is something that we know, source file may have been weaponized to execute ransomware on other unknown attacks upon end user interactions. And these are a few examples you can see on the screen of organizations being attacked and breached, having data exfiltration. And obviously you can search over the internet to find plenty of other organizations across different industries being attacked and breached by malicious users. And as I mentioned, legacy solutions are insufficient to protect against those attacks. Why? Because they are missing 0 days and unknown variants. They are based on signatures, and they have no visibility on malicious content that is not visible and not known. Their throughput is insufficient, and they require frequent update and full scan, continuously full scan across your data estate. Backup or immutable backup are also insufficient to protect against dark AI. They have an increased cost and they require high infrastructure. Their complexity is very high in terms of operations, And obviously, they do not protect against data exfiltration. And lastly, we also have CDR, which is also insufficient against zero-day and unknown attacks. It impacts the business process. It can potentially destroy your legitimate content in case of false positive, and it's complex to deploy and to maintain. And we are not the only ones saying this. In the latest hype cycle of Gartner related to storage and data protection technology released a few months ago, Gartner themselves are saying that traditional storage technologies like Snapshot, where you can also add legacy AV and CDR, are insufficient to protect against ransomware. This is inadequate to meet new challenges faced by ransomware. And for that, we have a solution that provides you a comprehensive zero-day data security to protect your Amazon S3 bucket, which Amit will demonstrate.
Thank you, David. So, as David mentioned, we have a solution for the challenge that he just presented. And the solution is called DSX for Cloud, when DSX stands for Data Security X. And it provides zero-day data security for your Amazon S3 buckets. Now, we'd like to start by exploring the process of how to protect files when they enter your S3 buckets. So what do we see here on the slide? On the left side, we see the users that interact with the buckets. In the middle, we see the buckets themselves. And on the right side, we see the DSX scanner, which is deployed on the AWS customer environment and runs on an ECS cluster. So it all starts by the user uploading a file to an S3 bucket. It can be done directly or indirectly through an application. Then the notification which results from this operation is forwarded to the DSX scanner. The DSX scanner then reads the file from the relevant bucket, and using DSX Brain, which consists of deep learning AI models, it scans the files within less than 20 milliseconds and provides a verdict, whether it's malicious or benign. If the file is benign, then it is tagged appropriately, and the scan result is logged into CloudWatch. However, if the file is malicious, it is quarantined, in addition to the tagging and the CloudWatch log. Now, in today's environment, when dark AI and unknown zero days have become the norm, the task of malware investigation by SOC teams is becoming much more complex. In order to address this challenge, we've introduced DSX Companion, which is also known as Diana, which can provide in a matter of seconds full detailed explainability about the malicious file, and by that make the task of malware investigation much easier for the SOC analyst. Now, after we cover the process of how to protect files when they enter your S3 buckets, let's review the benefits of DSX for Cloud. So it primarily provides zero-day attack prevention in real time using DSX Brain. It does it with an efficacy above 99% for both known and unknown attacks, which is much higher than any other vendor in the market. Using DSX Companion, the task of malware investigation is much easier now. The throughput is very high and can go above 1 gigabyte per second, with a verdict of less than 20 milliseconds per file. The speed of scan results with minimal infrastructure use, which then leads to a low total cost of ownership. The deployment is fast and can be done in a matter of minutes. And your data privacy is ensured because your files never leave the environment in AWS. And one additional important benefit is the DSX Brain updates, which occur up to twice a year. And this eliminates the need for continuous full scan of the S3 buckets, which is not the case in legacy AV vendors that rely on daily signature updates. And all of that is natively integrated and certified by AWS. Now I would like to demo for you the power of DSX for Cloud and its main benefit of detecting and preventing from unknown malware entering your S3 buckets. But before we go to the power of DS6 for Cloud, I would like to show you the behavior of a malware that was detected by our research team in the wild. Initially, I would like to verify that it's actually an unknown malware. So how can I do it? I calculate the file hash, and I'll go and check it in VirusTotal. We can see, as you probably could assume, that it's unrecognized by VirusTotal. Now let's go back to the Windows machine and run the malware, which is actually a ransomware. In a few seconds, all the files are encrypted, and it's also followed by a ransom note. Now let's see how DS6 for Cloud Amazon S3 can handle such an unknown ransomware. Let's log in initially to the management console. What we can see here is the logical entity that represents the DS6 scanner deployed at the AWS customer environment. Under protected storage, we see full bucket discovery across regions and accounts. In this case, there are only 2. So let's enable protection for one of those buckets. Now let's move to the AWS console. We see the 2 buckets. And let's upload a benign file to the bucket that we just enabled protection for. Once uploaded, it is immediately scanned by DS6 for Cloud. And if we look at the metadata of the file, we can see that it is tagged benign. Now remember the unknown ransomware that we've just saw? I will upload it to the same bucket by copying it from a different bucket. Once copied, again, it is immediately scanned and put into a dedicated quarantine prefix with restricted user access. If we look at the file metadata, we can see that it is additionally tagged as malicious. Now let's go back to the management console and review the security event resulted from the malicious file. We can see the threat type is ransomware. We can also see the event description and additional security details related to the malicious file. Now let's double check that the file is still not recognized by VirusTotal. Now let's say I am a SOC analyst. How can I investigate this unknown ransomware? For that, as mentioned before, we have Diana, the DS6 companion. The SOC analyst can simply go to the management console, upload the file, and in a matter of seconds, using generative AI, he can get full detailed explainability about the unknown ransomware that we saw. And by that, a task that usually takes 2 hours or even more can be completed in a matter of minutes. And with that, I would like to hand over back to David so he can summarize the discussion.
Thank you, Amit. So as we said at the beginning of this session, existing solutions and legacy solutions are failing to protect against GenAI zero-day attacks. The only solution that provides a comprehensive zero-day data security is Data Security X, known as DS6. When we talk about Amazon S3 specifically, we have our offering called DS6 for Cloud Amazon S3 that provides the following capabilities. First, it gives you real-time prevention and explainability using Diana, the DS6 companion for malware, ransomware, and crypto miners. The solution is fast, off-the-shelf deployment, which guarantees that in a matter of minutes, your security team can deploy and start securing your Amazon S3 buckets across your organization. We are providing very high scanning throughput using deep learning. All of this combined provides you a low total cost of ownership, lower compared to other solutions on the market. And because we're using deep learning, your data privacy is ensured as the solution runs within your environment. And finally, I would like to let you know that DS6 for Cloud Amazon S3 is also available on the AWS Marketplace that allows you to deploy the solution within your environment. Amit and I would like to thank you for your time. We would like to invite you to see us at the booth number 1496. Please make sure to complete the survey session in the mobile app Thank you all and have a wonderful reInvent.